This is the dream job I waited 35 years to get.
TV allows us to be so creative.
But the ability to do creative work here, to write something, even if it's 60 seconds long, and see it up on TV within a week, it's great.
You just get to do everything that you always dreamed of doing when you went to school. It's like making your dreams come true.
But I think one of the great things about the opportunity at DPTV is that there's room for telling and doing the kind of work that I like to do.
Sometimes very hectic, but that's kind of what the fun about it is.
I think still the amazing thing about TV is the amount of people that you're able to reach with the broadcast.
I come to work every day and I know what I'm doing makes a difference.
I'm excited about the people I work with, and certainly the people that I meet in my day-to-day work in engaging our donors and our supporters, a wonderful group of people.
Television is really the only way, for me anyway, to be able to communicate a lot of what I have to say about the larger world.
Because people don't get so pigeonholed here. You're allowed to expand, do different things, until you finally maybe settle on something that you like to do.
And I think that's why I went into television.
I think there's so much that we take for granted in this country. We are an incredibly lucky group of people that live in America. I think, the sacrifices, the selflessness that all these folks possess is humbling, and I think you can't tell too many of those kinds of stories. This experience kind of allowed me to understand what their experience was in Iraq or Afghanistan, and how they had suffered coming back and trying to make a transition from service into society. The opportunity at DPTV to go after issues that are important like this, it's an unusual privilege, and I hope I have a chance to do more of them.
Day of Courage is a very important program that we put on this year in 2013. It was basically the cornerstone of the February Black History Month. For me, it is one of the proudest moments in my career here at Channel 56. Detroit Public Television, through webcasting, afforded the entire world and globe was to be included on the celebration, to be included on this historical event, which was the launching of the Rosa Parks stamp. It also allowed for the celebration of one culture to the world. And showcasing Detroit in that manner, in that light, was just awesome.
Detroit Performs is actually a really cool idea because we're able to go and expand on this whole arts and culture thing that's happening in Detroit. There's people that kind of know that this is going on, but people aren't going out and seeing this. And so what we're trying to do is get people to go and actually explore the arts and be a part of the arts rather than just sit back and have all these things going on and people saying, oh, Detroit is just Detroit. No, there's a lot of things going on in Detroit, and we want you guys to go out and see that.
It started out as a documentary about the DIA, but it's kind of turned into something a little bit more. It's really a documentary about kind of the need to re-examine the support that's there for our cultural institutions. The DIA evolving and changing and acknowledging different cultural landscape that we have in our community today, and also acknowledging the different financial landscape. I think that is something other areas can take heed of, listen to that message, and probably learn something from them.
Just from being around public TV, you get a little bit of history, you get a little bit of cooking, you get a little bit of world news, but a lot of things I probably would have never thought of looking up and looking into started because I saw a show here on PBS. I'm kind of an outdoorsy person in the first place. I like to be outdoors, and that program was emphasizing how we have to take care of natural resources, and we're just obviously not doing enough of that. People tend to get information not only with their eyes, but with their ears. When you hear a commentator speak, open his mouth and say anything, you expect to be able to hear that. So if I'm doing my job, you never know I'm working.
Mackinac Policy Conference is the event that we do. It's held by the Regional Chamber of Michigan. The process of starting for Mackinac probably started about 3 to 4 months ago. On my end of it, a lot of it comes back to planning. How many cameras are going to be in each room? How are we getting audio back? How are we getting video back? So we have about 600 feet worth of cables that we run to various rooms, and then we get in part with the content end of it to know who's going to be interviewed, what time they're going to be interviewed. So that way on our end we can communicate with graphics and they can have graphics set up for it. And from there we kind of just make magic.
The idea between the humane education spots was 60-second PSAs that would just get the idea out there that animals have feelings, to be humane. But thankfully we were working with a partner on it who allowed us to get a little bit more creative. And since kids were primarily the focus of these messages, we decided to have a little bit more fun with it. We're doing a little bit of an X-Files homage. Our Mulder and Scully, who we cast from local actors, investigating signs of pig intelligence, or the secret societies of chickens, to try to have a little bit more fun with the message and to try to grab people's attention with a creative approach.
The Society for Excellence is our recognition of our group of major donors. And this is a terrific group of folks who we really value, not only for their financial support, but also for their input that we receive from them. And we create an opportunity for our donors to meet and interact with us. We offer special events from time to time, whether it's a visiting celebrity, a musical act. We try to connect our donors with our product in a more meaningful way. We want to give them back something in return for their support. The gift they give each year helps us to achieve the goals we set out each year to do, and that is to deliver great television to our audience.
Ride the Tiger is a really exciting new documentary being produced here at Detroit Public Television. Ed Moore, our head of documentaries, really took the topic and the importance of it and looked at the scope and the research and just what's available out there, what hasn't been exposed, and put our own unique spin on the information. We're going to be creating this full-length conversation piece and really putting a scope on the science and the groundbreaking research that's happening, and really, again, back to that positive perspective.
Secrets from the Love Doctor is all about taking your relationship from good to great. It's funded by Oakland University and it's hosted by Dr. Terry Orbach, who has spent over 26 years studying about relationships and patterns, and now she's turned that information into 4 main secrets that she's going to share with us in a national fundraising program. Detroit Public Television, in addition to all the local community programs that they produce, also is one of the largest producers and distributors of national fundraising programs across the nation. We do anywhere from 8 to 12 different national programs yearly, and it focuses on anything from how-to health and wellness to music.
We were lucky enough that I guess we were contacted and asked to go down to Miami Beach. We had to send the truck down a couple days early, have to really make sure we pack everything, because it's not like we're at the station where we can go get something. We really have to think things through. We have to basically build a TV studio when we're down there. The set's got to get built. With that show, Il Volo particularly, it was two separate shows in 2 days. I guess what was really cool about it is how quickly this was done, how quickly we turned around, and the first day we showed it on the Saturday night, it did great just for us locally. So you know, for how much little time we had just to be able to get this out there and get it done, and for it to be such a success, it's very cool.
Things we're producing now for the Early Childhood Investment Corporation are certainly going to live long beyond a broadcast, and we'll be seeing that content. People will be using it in the community, 5, 10 years from now. The Early Childhood Investment Corporation is a unique state and private funded institution, and what their goal is to really bring quality resources to parents and caregivers related to early childhood. The developmental years before age 5 are essential to that child's success later on in life, and there's data to prove that now. When we produce work for public television, that means it's free and available to everyone in our community, and not everyone can say that, and that's what makes us special.
Out of all of the public affairs shows you may see on television, My Week seems to be really the best. The viewer really gets first-hand information on what's going on in Southeast Michigan. When you have Nolan Finley and Stephen Henderson really giving you the information and making it entertaining, but the glue that really holds the show together is host Christy McDonald. She really is the one that asks the pinpoint questions. She really is the one that asks the correct follow-up questions, and she really keeps the flow of the program moving well.
If it wasn't for DPTV getting involved and putting up the management expertise and the commitment to see that this thing would work, we wouldn't have classical music, probably wouldn't have classical music in Detroit today. Radio is a much more personal medium. It's a one-on-one medium. You're not talking to a large audience, you're talking to one person. And there's something about classical music, and jazz for that matter, that grabs people. It has substance, it has something you can go back to over and over. And to spend time with a music that I love and a medium that I love is it's a dream job.
Great Lakes Now gives a focus to our Great Lakes initiative. And we had about 25 hours of live streaming content online. We were able to hit 66 states, provinces. It was amazing because we were able to interact with all these people online. In the past year and a half, 2 years, we started using more online resources at DPTV, and it's really pushed us out there as somebody to be recognized. We're known for Great Lakes Week. We're known for great Twitter interaction. It reaches the younger generation, and that's really important, especially with these initiatives. And they're the generation that needs to stand up in the next few years and help protect the Great Lakes.
I'd like to just thank everyone out there that supports Detroit Public Television.
They're the backbone of everything we do.
National fundraising programs are only possible because they're supported by wonderful people like you.
It really comes down to individuals.
And without them, a lot of this doesn't happen.
There are a lot of people who give.
It's a necessary resource that we need in this community.
Our name is out there and people are really starting to understand what we can do and what we have done.
Being able to accomplish so much as a team at DPTV and really working to come out with a goal to benefit the community.
People who contribute financially to Detroit Public Television makes that possible.
Without you, we wouldn't exist.
I think that our donors realize that, and that's why they want to put their money here.
You hear from listeners who are in difficult straits, but care about the station so much that they'll still do what they can to send in some money. I've gotten letters from people who are unemployed, from an artist who was unemployed and was apologizing that he couldn't send more. But the station meant so much to him that he felt he had to do something. And that's a very, very special place to be.